Hi guys, so I just got the Warhammer 40k Kill Team Into the Dark box set, and I've already made the Killzone for it. Video coming out soon how I made this, if it's not out already. So yeah, this is the box, and everyone will tell you just how heavy this bad boy is. And well, they're not lying. It is chocker full of sprues, and these are just amazing. So obviously all the figures and tons of terrain. So this is something I've never really sort of like built or painted before, is terrain. I've had lots of miniatures, so yeah, this is going to be fun, obviously, and there is so much terrain in here, it is untrue. As you can see, it just sort of keeps on going and going and going, and yeah, get the old measuring tape out, and we've got about 7.5 inches of sprue goodness. So the first thing we want to do is obviously cut away all these lovely pieces, away from, well, the sprues. So yeah, got my little trusty snips here. These are just nice cheap ones that I brought. And I got these off Amazon. There's a link in the description, guys. I am an affiliate with Amazon. Obviously, if you click the link and then just go and buy, well, what you normally would want to buy, it doesn't cost you any more. But obviously, I get a few pennies from everything you buy, which obviously goes towards helping me buy more stuff for the channel. So yeah, a win-win. I have to say, all these panels are so detailed. It's lovely. Obviously, when it comes to painting it, I might not be saying that, but looking at them at the moment, yeah, these things are awesome. So for the moment, I've kind of ignored the instructions, as I'm very keen and eager to get everything cut off the sprues. So yeah, that's why I've just gone straight in, cutting everything off. There is a bit of an order to how these things go together, but not by too much. So yeah, if you want to obviously follow the instructions, do so. But say my keenness and eagerness, yeah, I just went straight in and cut every single part out, just because I was like a kid on Christmas. Yeah, I just absolutely love this set, love all these bits, and yeah, very keen to assemble and obviously then start painting. And there we go, that's them all finally sort of cut off and ready for the next stage. Yeah, so one thing I really do love about these is the doorways, and the fact that obviously they've all got nice opening doorways, and yeah, everything fits really nicely in there. Yeah, so I can't wait to get them assembled and look at how good these doorways really are. So obviously it fits nicely on the board that I made. Obviously I did make an original one a few weeks ago, but then found out that obviously GW had changed the size of their board, so I had to make another one. Any excuse. So yes, I'm obviously going to use magnets for this, just because I have seen a lot of people say that these connector bits, they're a bit snug, a bit tight. So yeah, I'm going to magnetize mine just for ease of, well, assembly and disassembly. So yeah, the first thing obviously you need to do is go around all the bits and trim away where the connectors were on the sprue. You can use a scalpel for this, but as you can see, obviously I'm finding it a lot easier just to rub the thing gently over some sandpaper. And the sandpaper I'm using is a high grit or low grit? I'm not sure. Either way, it's very fine sandpaper. As you can tell, I know all the technical terms. So yes, it's super fine sandpaper. And this takes off all those little nibbly nobbly bits that were left on. Yeah, nice and easy. And obviously make sure that these things are nice and, well, nice and flat. So yeah, just continue doing this for all the bits. So I say the preparation on this did take quite a while. Well, because there are so many parts. But obviously that's not a bad thing, because obviously if there wasn't that many parts, then we'd be moaning, well, there wasn't many parts. So yeah, I'd rather be moaning that there was so much. So yeah, so literally I did this on every single item that I cut off. And while I continue to sand the bits down, so I'll say a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons, as well as my sponsors, Easy Roll of Dice and Any Cubic, for help sponsoring this channel and making it possible for me to keep buying more and more bits and pieces, well, to keep making more and more videos. So cheers guys, thanks so much for that. If you want to become a patron, there's a link at the end of the video, and you can obviously get access to behind the scenes pictures and videos and stuff of what I'm currently working on before it comes out on YouTube. So yes, there's a few cases where using the sandpaper obviously wasn't a good idea or easy to do. So yeah, using a good old scalpel just to sort of, again, cut away and scrape away all those little nibbly nobbly bits where the parts were attached to the sprues. This was quite a long and laborious task, but obviously it's worth doing because you want the thing to look nice, especially as obviously once it is painted, you will then be using it, well, quite some time. So it definitely is worth spending all this time now, just for the enjoyment factor more later on. And again, this hobby is all about having fun, making things, building things. So it's not a case about doing something quick, it's about doing it right. So yeah, so again, every single little piece. I should have counted up actually how many pieces there were. But say there was loads. But yeah, so I did make quite a mess, and dust everywhere. Good old vacuum cleaner came out and obviously tidied everything up. And now I'm just waffling on about my Hoover. Anyway, back to the sanding, because obviously this did take quite some time. But eventually everything was done, and then it was a time to yeah, pull out the instruction booklet just to see well, how bits went together, and if perhaps I should have cut them out individually, because there's a few items that do go with each other, and I do actually make a little bit of a mistake. Not that you can see it very well. It's basically a couple of the door hinge thingies I've got upside down. So as I say, you can't really notice unless you look closely, and then you can see on them some of the letters are, well, upside down. So yeah, there's a few bits obviously that do need gluing, but this is where you do want to look through the instructions, because obviously there's several parts that you don't glue together, as they just get sort of clipped onto each other when you actually set up the well, the Killzone board. But these centre bits, these do get glued on, obviously using the good old cement glue, just because this is nice and easy. And yeah, I do like the brush. As much as I've been using the other sort of cement glues quite a bit, the brush is a good way of well, getting the glue on where you need it. There's loads of these end sort of connector bits, so they've all been obviously sanded down top and bottom, and they all have these little greebly bits that go on. Not too sure why these weren't sort of already, well, made on the thing. Not too sure. I guess it just gives you the option of putting them on or not putting them on. But obviously in my case, yeah, I do like to have detail everywhere, and these can literally just go on any of these. There's no sort of set sort of look or pattern here, and yeah, I'm going for sort of like almost center. Don't forget to leave comments down below, guys. Let me know what you think of this video as well as my other videos, and what else you might like to see me do on this channel. Obviously I am well into the kill team. As you can see, obviously, yeah, fully hooked onto this sort of thing. So I am going to be doing quite a lot more of the kill teams. Obviously, I've got 4 already. With this box set, I'm going to have another 2, which is awesome. But my plan is to eventually, well, make all the kill teams, just because, well, they're a lot easier to make than they are in the full sort of 40k game. So yeah, I do like a bit of variety. There's quite a lot of kill teams that I do like the look of. And obviously I will be getting them ones probably first, but yeah, if there's any ones you want to see, guys, let me know, as if there's a lot of people asking for a certain kill team, then yeah, I'll get that one. As you can see, there are a lot of parts that do get glued together, but yeah, no, I really enjoyed doing this. It was nice to get like a full set of sort of scatter terrain and the walls. Yeah, really enjoyed doing all this. So yeah, guys, the bit you've probably been waiting for, the connectors. Obviously they are as stiff as anything, and obviously I've seen a lot of people sand theirs down, but I didn't really fancy doing that, as I wanted a nice easy way of well, basically making up the board and being obviously able to take it apart nice and easy, which you certainly can't do with these connectors. So my cunning plan, well, chop off the connectors, get rid of them, don't need them. So obviously this is the bit where even I was a little bit nervous doing this, because obviously it's a case of once you start, that's it, there's no real sort of going back. So I had considered using a like little junior hacksaw, just because obviously you get a nice sort of straight cut flush edge, but then remembered I had a little Dremel tool and thought, yeah, I'll use that instead. So here's just a case of doing it nice and obviously slowly. I've left a little gap between what I'm cutting and obviously the edge of the main sort of tile, just because I didn't want to obviously cut into it by accident. And then it's easy enough just to sand it again. So this time I'm using some coarser sandpaper, just to obviously, well, get through it a lot quicker and a lot easier. And yeah, obviously this plastic, I've kind of said it in the past, it is nice and relatively soft, so it does sand really well. And it doesn't take too long to obviously, yeah, make it a lovely straight sort of flush edge. So it was a case of doing this to obviously all the parts that had those sort of like nibbly knobbly end bit connectors. And this is kind of where, if you do commit to doing it this way, guys, be prepared to spend quite some time. I'm not sure how long it took me, but I know it was a good day of doing this. But again, it's one of those things, it's worth doing proper, because once it is all built, assembled, painted and all the rest of it, you are going to be playing this game for quite a while. So yeah, it's worth spending the time now. Well, I think it is, just to make it easier then afterwards. I say those connectors, as much as obviously if you sanded them down, they are a nice sort of fit and all the rest of it, it is still a bit of a palaver trying to take them apart each time. Whereas having the magnets in is so much easier, because obviously, well, you just slide one piece up to another piece. So initially I was going to have magnets in all the walls, obviously the connectors and the main bits. But then I kind of thought, well, I haven't really used magnets much before, and these magnets are going to be so small and tiny, it's going to be quite fiddly to try and make the polarities go the right way. And obviously the amount that I would need would be horrendous. So in the end, I kind of like cheated and opted for this, which is galvanized steel. Just so obviously I can have a rod of this in one end, and obviously the magnets on the other. Which seemed like a good way of doing it, and yeah, I must admit it worked out well, just as I'd hoped. So with these end bits, yeah, as I say, I'm going to put the rods in it. It's just a case of cutting a little slot in, or a little groove, just to accommodate the metal. So again, this works out a lot quicker than trying to fill that gap with, well, whatever you want to fill it with, and then put the magnets into that. So again, I don't mind spending a lot of time doing something, but sometimes you have to outweigh the amount of time you're going to spend on, is it really going to make much difference or be sort of worth it? And in the end I thought, no, it's not worth filling these gaps and then putting magnets in, when, as you can see, it's taken literally seconds to cut out a little channel and then put in the galvanized steel, which obviously the magnets will attract to. So yeah, I mean, again, this still took quite a time to do, because there are so many ends that need connecting. But yeah, it's all worth it. So yeah, just a little drop of glue, just to keep everything in place. Plus, the other thing I like about these the metal rods is, once this is all painted, it kind of fits in well with how the wall looked anyway. So yes, even if you don't have the a wall going across the divider, it still looks pretty cool with just a metal rod in. And now onto the next tricky bit, and this is obviously, well, putting the magnets yeah, in these panels. So I went out and bought a nice brand new 3mm wood drill bit, and as you can see, the wood drill bit's got that nice sharp pokey bit on the very end, which is great, because obviously you can line that up with obviously where you want to drill, push that in, and then you know then the drill bit isn't going to sort of slip and slide, which obviously when you're holding it this close to your fingers, yeah, you don't want it to slip and slide, you want it to just drill nice and straight, which it does. So yeah, really pleased with this, because obviously the magnets, the magnets I've got are 3mm diameter, 2mm depth, and they obviously fit in nicely into these panels. These panels are about 5mm wide, so that's why I went with the 3mm magnets, just because they're kind of like the widest I could get. Yeah, so obviously when I'm drilling in, it's about 1mm either side, which works out pretty cool. So as you can see, initially I've gone round just drilling the 2 holes, because I wanted to see obviously if the 2 holes would suffice. I bought a set of magnets. I think I've got 50 magnets in a pack. Yeah, so I thought I'd do 2 holes, see how that sort of panned out, and if that was going to be strong enough. Obviously, because I'm doing magnets onto the metal, it's obviously not going to be as much of a pull or strength as if it was a magnet obviously attracting to another magnet. So yeah, start off with 2, see how that goes, but obviously, as you may well have seen obviously from the thumbnail, there's actually 3 magnets in each of these panels, just because while the 2 wasn't too bad, yeah, 3 was better. And then it was simply a case of obviously getting the magnets. Hey, these are diddy little things, and I think for me to try to have made these in both ends, and then trying to get the north and the south lined up, would just be so fiddly. These little suckers were hard enough to pick up as it is, so it'd be quite easy to sort of try and put it into it, and then it sort of flip round at the very end. But yeah, obviously nice and flush. A little bit of glue in there first, drop the magnet in, and then just using the old wet wipe just to sort of clear off any excess glue that was on the outside. Although I do actually go over afterwards and give them another light sanding. But yeah, simple as that, although one of the magnets sort of came out and stuck to me. Yeah, I say this is only the second time I've ever used magnets in anything like this, and the first one was, well, they were bigger magnets. I only used a few, and they were for some floor tiles, so obviously it was a lot easier using them. But magnets are pretty cool, and I'm going to be using these soon in some of the miniatures that I make up, just so I can swap out weapons. Obviously, give it the kill teams, because there are so many, obviously, different sort of setups you can do. Sometimes you might have the same figure, but you want to change their gun. So yeah, rather than making obviously two figures, one figure and then just two sets of arms or guns. So yeah, with these, because obviously I'm not having the other connectors in there, there are some of these top covers that I can glue in position. And yeah, so that's exactly what I'm doing here. Just because, again, when I get all this assembled, I want to have the least amount of parts sort of sitting around. So anything like this that can be glued on, yeah, I'm definitely going to glue on. Yeah, so obviously here's where I sort of said about me trying out just two magnets, and then thinking, well, I've got enough magnets to go round, so yeah, I'm going to add a third one in. And then in the blink of an eye, it was all done. Although in theory, it's probably more like about 6 hours. But yeah, so there we go. Everything's now primed and ready to paint. And well, now you can't even really see that there's magnets there, but obviously there are, because it's well, it links together. So yeah, really pleased with how this has come out. So especially as obviously there's only magnets in one bit. As I know, obviously most sort of connectors you'd have magnets on both sides. But yeah, magnets in one, and then the steel sort of rod in the other. Yeah, worked a treat. So very happy with that. And then I'm going to paint the walls similar to how I painted the floor. But obviously you may not have seen the floor video. Well, at the time of this video coming out, the floor video hasn't been done yet. So yeah, so you wouldn't have seen that, and I'm now just waffling. Yeah, so my sort of go-to method for doing sort of like metal walls or metal sheets or metal anything really. Well, put my hand in front of the camera so you can't see what I'm doing. No, it's dry brushing. Obviously I love dry brushing. So yeah, I go around all the parts, and initially I'm dry brushing with silver. No real pattern, so obviously some bits of it are going to be getting sort of more silver, other parts not so much. But obviously more or less it is just the raised areas that obviously getting hit by the silver, which is pretty cool. And yeah, as I say, I'll go through every single piece that I've done in this fashion. So yeah, sorry guys, anyone who tried to come onto my live stream last night, or could be a few nights ago now, obviously I tried to do a live stream of me doing this, but unfortunately I don't know if it was on my end or YouTube's end or my internet, or I don't know what it was, but for some reason my live stream just kept buffering. It was a bit of a pain, because it would have been nice to have had you guys along while I was painting, because it obviously is always a lot more fun. Yeah, again, apologies, obviously my hand well and truly in the shot there. I obviously do move the camera after I realise that I'm, well, you can't see anything. But as you can see, it is just a case of, yeah, dry brushing everywhere. And yeah, it just hits all the raised areas, and obviously starts to make it a bit more of a metallic sort of look. Yeah, obviously batch process or batch painting process here. Every single item I've obviously primed, and now it's just a case of going around every single item with a bit of silver dry brushing. Obviously fingers get dry brushed as well, pretty cool. So just call me the Tin Man. And then once that was all complete, then I went round with some bronze, and basically did the same sort of thing with the bronze dry brushing. I just love doing the bronze just because it gives it a bit more of an aged sort of rustic look. As you can see from the floor underneath all the pieces. Yeah, I don't know, this seems to be my go-to method of all metal really. Dry brush silver, dry brush with the bronze, and I just really love it. I know obviously it won't be everyone's cup of tea. Obviously everyone paints however they want to paint, which is great, because obviously we're all individuals and we all have a different sort of technique and sort of like in how we do things. But yeah, this is definitely my go-to. And then it's simply a case of going round, or I say simply, there's so much terrain here, it's going to take me months. But then it is a case of going around, just picking out certain things and just, well, getting a bit of colour back into it. And obviously in this case I'm going around, so all the wires are visible, I'm going to do in red. No real reason, I just wanted a vibrant colour that kind of like stood out away from obviously the main sort of silvery bronzy colour. And yeah, that's simply it. That's all I do now, is go around picking out certain areas. So again, this is where I would normally sort of pick one colour and then go through and do it on every single item. But as there are so many here, my plan was just to get sort of one main piece painted fully, and then once that was fully painted, then move on to the next. As I say, because there are so many pieces here, and I want to enjoy the painting process. I didn't want to rush getting them all done just to make the video. So that's why I say I'm just doing one panel at a time. Because the other thing obviously I like about these panels is, as well as obviously using them to obviously play the game, I obviously like painting figures. So these will make for an awesome backdrop, just to sort of show off and display all the new kill teams that I will be painting. So yeah, obviously adding a little bit of little colour here just to make it look like the lights are obviously lighting up. But yeah, really pleased with how this has come out. And I say, even if I didn't do much more than just the dry brushing with silver and the dry brushing with the bronze, they are sort of tabletop ready, or my tabletop ready anyway, for me to start playing on, which is pretty cool. So yeah, guys, that's basically it now. Obviously, I'm just going to crack on and keep painting. But obviously, again, I'm not doing a video, obviously, the whole process, because you will be here for quite some time. So if you have liked the video, guys, don't forget to hit that the thumbs up button. Definitely leave comments down below, guys. Let me know what you thought about what I've done here. If you've done something similar, or anything to do with sort of Warhammer, Killzone, kill teams, or anything with the hobby in general, basically. Yeah, leave some comments down below, guys. I always answer them, because it's nice to see what you guys think of what I do. And if you've got any tips and tricks on what you've done, then yeah, leave me some comments of that as well, because obviously this hobby is all about learning and sharing, which is pretty cool. And yeah, if you can share this video anywhere, guys, obviously that helps my channel out no end. There'll be a couple of videos popping up on the screen very shortly. Give them a click, go and watch a few more sort of videos of what I do. And again, yeah, if you want to help support the channel, become a patron. It's only £2 a month, although there are higher tiers. You get your name on the videos, and I say all the money that I get sort of from the patrons, basically I either sort of spend back again in buying sort of paints, glues, MDF, or whatever it is that I need to make more videos. Okay, guys, yeah, I mean, you can carry on watching. I'm just going to be painting slowly. But yeah, no, I'm going to go now, guys. Okay, you guys take care. Have a great week, weekend, or whatever. Enjoy the hobby. Love you all. Take care. Bye now. You still here? Yeah, the video's kind of ended. Yeah, okay. Bye. Yeah, you can go. No, seriously, this is all I'm doing now. There's nothing else. Okay. Alrighty. Catch you later. Yeah, it's time to click on one of those other videos now then, guys. Alright. Are you still there?